guiding it. Just thank you for all you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Light, if you'll call the roll, please.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Here.
Councilmember Griffin.
Here.
Councilmember Eubanks.
Present.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Oliver.
Here.
Council President Simmons.
Here.
Madam President, we have all 6 council members in attendance, and therefore a quorum is present.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, if we can get the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Motion by Councilman Oliver, second by Councilwoman Eubanks. All in favor?
6-0, motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have a message from the mayor.
Good evening. I only have 2 items tonight, and one is just a reminder of our State of the City. I want to invite everyone to the 2024 State of the City next Tuesday, August the 27th at the Florence Lauderdale Coliseum. We're looking forward to a great event as we had last year. The doors will open to the public at 5:15 to provide ample time for you to sample our city department's taste of home treats and cast your vote for your favorite. You can also take advantage of this time to sign up for more information on how you can volunteer to help in your community with some of our nonprofits that we work with in the city of Florence. Probably at 6 p.m. the program will begin. We look forward to having you join us. Don't forget to register for our generous Marriott giveaway as well by visiting the link on our website or our Facebook page. You must be present to win. Now, something's very important to me in my time, not only as a school board member, as a councilman, and now as mayor. I've been pondering this a while, but I wanted to share it this evening as a statement about our friend Dick Jordan. I want to take a minute this evening to honor Dick Jordan publicly for a lifetime of dedicated service to our city. Since 1979, he has served in various positions of leadership within our municipal government and spearheaded many projects that we enjoy today. The renovated Florence Harbor was one such project, providing a marina, boat slips, playground, and a restaurant for citizens and visitors to enjoy year-round. He also laid the groundwork and followed through with constructing our public library, ensuring that Florence had the most up-to-date library in North Alabama. During his time on the council, 8 new residential neighborhoods and most of the downtown business district were added to the National Register of Historic Places, while Tennessee Street and much of downtown also completed streetscape projects. As mayor, he was actively involved with the other city and county officials in Lauderdale and Colbert County to bring unity in developing economic growth. They negotiated with the retirement systems of Alabama to develop the Shoals Robert Trent Jones Golf Course and bring the Marriott to our city. I could go on and on referencing projects and plans that Dick Jordan pursued or helped move forward, but I think I'll end with this quote. Community leadership is the courage, creativity, and capacity to inspire participation, development, and sustainability for strong communities. No doubt, Dick Jordan has been a community leader in Florence. I've known him for many years, and I can honestly say this sums up his actions of leadership and the spirit behind his choice to serve Florence so faithfully. I'm grateful for Dick's friendship for over the years, and I've enjoyed serving with him alongside him. My prayers and friendship will continue to be offered as he enjoys more time with his family.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any department head reports? Any standing committees? I do have one for the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee, we met on August the 19th. The members' presence was myself, Katrina Simmons as the chair, Councilman Blake Edwards, Councilman Jackie Hendricks, Mayor Andy Betterton, David Kuntz, Shana Balch, Todd Sullivan, and Billy Musgrove. President Simmons welcomed all and called the meeting to order at 1:02 p.m. David Kuntz gave a presentation on the proposed 4501 Starkey Drive property. He presented a letter from Andrew Keelan, which read that an appraisal cost for the building and its 8 acres would cost $4,900, and the appraisal for the additional 18 acres would cost $2,900. This would be presented in a joint appraisal. The appraisal could get the project in approximately 3 weeks. Mr. Kuntz stated that the primary interest in the property is to build a transfer station to help control garbage costs. Other opportunities including creating a citywide maintenance shop on the property, a FEMA staging area for FEMA estimates, and using some of the dirt for the landfill, which could create an annual cost savings of $300,000 for 2 to 3 years. The building with 8 acres is priced at $3.1 million, and the additional 18 acres is priced at $900,000. The total ask price is $4 million from the owners. No appraisal on the property at this time. Shana Balch stated that the city's general fund budget and sanitation budget allocates combined $1.3 million on repairs and maintenance. Having a citywide maintenance shop would help reduce the cost. Todd Sullivan reported that the city already owned the CityWorks software and only costs incurred would be to set up the costs at the facility. Mr. Kuntz reported that the building was built in 2004 and is in very good shape. Councilman Edwards asked how much the building would cost to build from scratch, and Councilman Hendricks replied that based on the insurance replacement costs of this building across the street, it would cost approximately $3.2 million without the offices. Councilman Hendricks is checking with realtors to gain more insight and information. Mayor Betterton stated that he would like to see the property purchased and developed and move forward. President Simmons stated that she agrees with all of the needs and supports the needs. However, she does not feel comfortable making such a purchase without an appraisal and would not support the purchase without it. She wants to make sure that we are doing what is right with tax dollars, so we all would know that it's appraised for, and to see if it's worth that. Councilman Edwards asked Mr. Kuntz about the improvement costs and to be able to move to the facility. Mr. Kuntz replied that his move and costs would be very low. Councilman Edwards also asked, how would we pay for the property? Ms. Balch replied that the money would come from the general fund and confirmed that the funds were available. Mr. Kuntz shared information about the city and Athens building a double transfer station for $4.8 million, and if that would build a transfer station, our costs would drop from $42 to $45 per ton, to $65 per ton. Mayor Betterton asked Mr. Kuntz what is his plans for the Railroad Avenue property was, and he suggests that one could be additional parking for East Florence. The discussion ended with the consideration of getting a professional appraisal for the property. President Simmons stressed again how she feels the needs for an appraisal to be done. No decisions was made at that time. The discussions concerned funding for the engineer for the potential roundabout at Grisham Road and Seville. Todd Sullivan requested $185,960.53 for a contract at Garver Engineering. He further stated that it would be a single roundabout and it was a safe and most efficient correction for that intersection. Councilman Edwards made a motion to approve, and Councilman Hendricks made the second. The vote was 3-0 in favor. The meeting adjourned at 2:05 p.m. respectively submitted for President by Councilman Hendricks with corrected edits by President Simmons. That's all I have. Thank you. Okay. Next, we do have public hearings. Ms. Bailey.
Thank you. Good evening. The first public hearing is a rezoning. It's under your agenda, item 9A. It is the proposed rezoning for 7.36 acres located on Gresham Road, adjacent and west of Deerfield Apartments. The rezoning would be from R1 Single Family Residential District to R3 Multifamily, and that says business, but it should say residential on the agenda. And it is requested by Specker Properties LLC. This rezoning comes to you with a unanimous vote from the Planning Commission. It is also in congruence with the city's comprehensive plan. Given the conversations regarding Gresham Road of late, I will say that the developer was required to do a traffic study, and as I noted in the work session, this property would actually support 120 units, but the developer has chosen to reduce that to 53 units, resulting in a negligible impact to traffic on Gresham Road. Are there any questions from the council that I can entertain before we open the public hearing? Okay. Council President, we are now ready to entertain any comments from the public regarding this rezoning.
Okay, if we have anyone who would like to speak in regards to this public hearing for a guest, you may do so at this time. Anyone to my left? The middle? To my right? Ms. Bailey, we don't have any.
President Simmons, I recommend that you close the public hearing. Thank you.
At this time, the public hearing is now closed. We have another public hearing. At this time, Mr. Musgrove, are you going to do that one? Sure.
As I've said at the work session, there's a resolution that the council is planning to consider tonight that would authorize an economic development project on South Court Street to construct a new hotel. The city would provide certain economic incentives, specifically tax rebates, $175,000 towards public improvements like sidewalks and utilities and whatnot that had to be incorporated into the plan, and capping fees, certain building fees at $10,000, and then in the resolution, the council is pointing out the public benefits. More hotel rooms, more jobs, increase the tax base, various things, the things that will be of a public benefit, along with the incidental benefit, or not incidental, but to the benefit to the developer. So this is just a time for the public to share their thoughts before the council considers the resolution to move forward with this.
Before you sit down, Mr. Musgrove, is it possible to alter the business agreement at this point still and put an additional component, maybe that if after a certain date no action has been taken on the property, that the developer be responsible for tearing it down maybe and returning it to green space?
Well, I mean, possibly. That's not currently in the agreement that's being negotiated, but this resolution does not finalize the agreement. That would be a separate ordinance once the agreement is finalized. So yes, I mean, that could be asked for. I don't know, what the developer's thoughts on that would be. But yes, the agreement is not finalized.
Could you add that to your list of things?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
If there's any other comment. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
At this time, the public hearing is now open. Anyone to my left would have anything they would like to say? In the middle? To my right? I'm sorry. This is in regards to the public hearing?
Yes.
Come to the podium, please.
Forgive my, Leslie Vale, forgive my ignorance. South Court Street, is that over by the river? That's not over by the university, right?
No, ma'am.
Nope. Okay, well, I get turned around. What kind of hotel is it going to be? What chain? That's just what I wanted to ask.
Okay. You can.
Sorry, I didn't mention it. The proposed hotel is under the Hard Rock Hotel brand, and it's one of their sub brands called Reverb that is specifically geared towards the Shoals music heritage.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the middle?
Ray Simpson, 755 West Alabama Street. I'm against it because of the name Hard Rock. It sounds like it's just going to be a lot of booger bears coming in our area, and it's going to be a problem. Hard Rock. You need to listen to that name. Going to be a lot of booger bears over there. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else in the middle want to speak for or have any comments in regards to it? If not, to my right.
Good evening, and thank you. My name is Joey James, for those of you who don't know me. I am a national toxic tort lawyer. My practice is all over the country. I chose to have it here in Florence, Alabama, because this is where I grew up. I love this place, like each one of you do. My job requires that we evaluate data about people that are poisoned by the petrochemical industry, all types of data. I have scientists from North Alabama that work for me. I have scientists all over the country that work for me. So I deal with data every day. When this project was presented, I went over the data. I went over the economic impact studies. I had my teams go through the information, analyze it, evaluate it. And when the data was evaluated, it screamed success and something we needed to do in this community. And I've tried to help facilitate it happening. And so the reason I'm here tonight is to thank each and every one of you that have looked at the data and considered the significance of the economic impact that will be brought to this community by doing this project. And all of the others that support it, that are in the industry, that know what needs to be done and what will be successful and what will not be successful. So I simply want to say thank you to each one of you that have evaluated this data and are looking at this project.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right?
Hi, David Tomlinson. I'm a resident of District 1. Know most of you, and I want to speak in favor of the project. It makes sense. We have a shortage of hotels downtown. The quality of this project, the numbers, it just makes sense. And I want to thank all of you for supporting that.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right?
Good evening. Larry Bowser, Marriott, General Manager of the Marriott Shoals. I first of all want to thank you again for your leadership and your consideration for this this agreement. I am in full support of this project, as I said many times. I truly believe that this development, along with our renovation and in conjunction with the TID, will be the catalyst to be able to really take us to the next level of establishing Florence as a destination. Not only the economic impact that brings, but also the quality of life, the additional restaurants and everything else that supports. Again, it's just going to have a tremendous impact on the city of Florence, and I would ask you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Wesley House, and I just have two questions. Is the developer current public information, or is that still held as private information? And is there a timeline on the development of the hotel?
Mr. Musgrove, you want to answer those?
The developer is an LLC that I can't remember but it's Eugene Sack, a local developer
Okay.
And the timelines have not been firmed up yet, but in the agreement that would be necessary before the development started, there are time limits where if the hotel is not begun by a certain date, the agreement will terminate, and if it's not finished by a certain date, the agreement will terminate. So it's not open. If the council moves forward, it will not be open-ended.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon. My name is John Rusevlin, and I live at 210 Bainbridge Road, which is in the city limits of Florence. I'm here to speak in support of the city participating in the development of the Reverb Hotel by Hard Rock project. There's no doubt the city will benefit economically. On a regular basis, the city gives inducements, incentives, supplements for various events or developments. Why? To bring people in from out of town. Those people come in and spend money, which supports small and large businesses here in Florence. The fact of the matter is, we need these people coming in, as we're not able to be a self-sustaining community because of our lagging population and income growth that Florence has been mired in for years. Because of our antiquated economic development model, incentive money regularly goes out to other non-city entities through various methods with little cohesion. It may come through the Florence Lauderdale Tourism or the Shoals Economic Development Authority. It's all coming from taxpayer dollars, though. It's coming from us, just from different buckets. Examples of these inducements or supplements are many and far-reaching in the city, so we're not doing anything earth-breaking. West Village, you gave them a 30-year tax sharing. North Alabama Medical Center, tax abatements of $1.8 million coming from the city of Florence for over a 12-year period. Retirement System of Alabama, Marriott, we gave them substantial dollars and property as an inducement for them to build what now is 20-plus years of success. They didn't do it all on their own. The University of North Alabama, we've given money to them. Why? Because they bring people, bring dollars, bring growth. WC Handy Festival brings people in. Why can't it be by self-sustaining? Because they needed a boost. Fishing tournaments, softball tournaments, baseball tournaments, people from out coming in, bringing money. And not only the money that we directly give them as an inducement to come here, we're giving them resources, people mowing grass, maintaining fields, supporting them. Those aren't local people that are using those fields. Those has been built for others from outside that we're reaping the benefit of that. Also, the Shoals Economic Development Authority gives money out that we're paying into. Millions of dollars over the years have been collected and distributed. We even give out tax money that we make here across the river to other people. So we do this all the time. Why do we do this? It's because the greater good is being achieved. The velocity of an outside dollar is tremendous and necessary benefit for many Florence residents and businesses. It's difficult to match directly incentive dollar to dollar earned benefit. We do know that it's imperative to bring outside dollars in for our own economic health, as, like it or not, tourism is a significant generator in the city of Florence. I appreciate the council's engagement and approval of this project, which will benefit many directly and indirectly for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right? Okay, if there's nobody else, Mr. Musgrove, do you have anything else you want to add to it? If there's no additional comments, at this time we'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll have business from the floor pertaining to items on the consent and the regular agenda with a 5-minute time limit. We will start this time from our right. You can speak on anything on the consent or the regular agenda. Nobody to my right? Okay. If not, in the middle, River.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. Now, during my speech, I hope y'all know how to use an Android phone. I have a screenshot that I want each of the council members to look at, and I'm starting with Mr. Hendricks, and I will pick my phone up from Mr. Oliver when I'm done. So good evening, everybody. My name is Rivers Arensky, for everybody new here. So, as some of you know, and I'm sure all of you know, I was interested in the District 2 council position for many years, and that's because, I always had an interest in serving my city. Particularly as a person that has autism, I feel like that people with autism are underrepresented in terms of government positions. And a lot of autistic people aren't as fortunate as I am to have had the therapy that has been able to allow me to speak to y'all at these meetings. And so, with that said, when I applied for the council seat recently, it was suggested to me by one of the council members, as well as by a city employee I talked to during the process, that I should apply for a board. So, with that being said, I made the decision the day after the last council meeting to apply for the beautification board, which, I thought one of y'all would break the news during the work session, but I guess I get to break the news myself now that I applied for the beautification board. And what you are looking at on my phone is a post that I made to my Instagram page over 2 years ago. And when I am out and about across our area, I'm always looking for beauty. People with autism, we typically have higher attention to detail compared to other people. And beauty and landscaping is always something I've enjoyed. I helped my mom plant trees in our yard when we bought our current house in 2004. And of all the boards that I looked at that had vacancies, I felt that I was most qualified for the beautification board. First of all, I've already spent the last few years looking at what other cities have done with relating to landscaping. And what you are looking at, as y'all pass my phone around, that is window planters that Corinth has in their downtown. And during the winter time, they plant these ornamental cabbages that are purple. And I wanted to show that to you because if I am chosen to be on the beautification board, one thing that I would like to propose is us getting that for our downtown, because that ties into the University of North Alabama. That's literally our colors in Corinth. And that's something that I would like to see here, and it's something that I brought up over 2 years ago. Another reason I decided to apply for the beautification board is, I've always enjoyed the Christmas lights in Wilson Park. And for those that don't know, the beautification board sponsors the lighting of the city's Christmas tree. It's something that growing up, my mom or my grandmother or another member of my family would make sure to drive me to see the Christmas lights in Wilson Park every year. And now that, I'm an adult and can walk, I walked up to Wilson Park for the lighting. I got to film the lighting, which was pretty cool, and I got a picture of me and the mayor from the lighting this past year, and that's something I've always loved. I always found it magical when all the lights came on in Wilson Park representing Christmas time. And since the beautification board sponsors that, and with my key attention to detail as an individual on the autism spectrum, I think I'm most qualified to serve on the beautification board. And I hope that y'all like my ideal for the ornamental cabbages. That's why I brought it to y'all tonight, and that's something that I hope to be discussing with the rest of the beautification board at the next meeting, assuming I'm chosen as the member tonight. And with that, I yield my time, and hopefully Councilman Oliver can give me my phone back. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle aisle? If not, to my left? Okay. If not, Mr. Lighty, you can go ahead and read the consent agenda.
All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Florence City Council for reading and study, are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion of the council with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Did you make second by? Sorry, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor?
6-0, motion carries.
Go with the regular.
All right, under the regular agenda, item A, an ordinance to approve the rezoning of 7.36 acres located on Gresham Road adjacent to Deerfield Apartments from R1 Single Family Residential District to R3 Multifamily Residential District as requested by Specker Properties LLC, sponsored by Melissa Bailey.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Ms. Eubanks. Any discussion? Okay. Not all in favor of the motion.
6-0, motion carries. Item B is an ordinance to amend Section 22-26 of the Code of Florence, Alabama for a rate increase for commercial establishments for a minimum monthly fee of $34, sponsored by David Koontz.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Ms. Eubanks. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Edwards. Any discussion?
By way of discussion, Madam President, I would like to point out that none of us take these rate increases lightly. There are 3 of these we're going to look at today, and they are all representative of approximately 12.5%. And so 3 is in for the street and water department, street and sanitation department. So I think that's really important to reiterate that we have looked at these very carefully and that we have considered the best way to move forward with these while still knowing that the street and sanitation department is going to operate at a deficit coming into the next fiscal year.
I'd like to add too, for those who may have just started looking in on our live stream, that I did ask the question in the work session how these rates that are being increased compare to adjoining cities and in our region, and we are below or right at what the other rates are in our adjoining cities. So as Ms. Eubanks says, it's always tough to have to do this, but unfortunately this time and day that we live in, everything is going up, and so this is just another one of those things.
Any additional?
I'd like to say that when you go from $34 a ton to $65 a ton, I mean the money's got to come somewhere. I mean that's almost double what we're having to pay to get the garbage transferred, and it doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. That the money's we can't absorb that kind of, it's almost with doubles, it's almost like $1 million that we have to absorb. We just can't do that. So this is just a $2.50 increase at this time, and we all hate increases. I mean, whether it's 50 cents or $2.50, but we've got to make sure our sanitation department stays solvent, and this is the way of doing it. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Koontz is looking at about a 95% increase of his cost, but has worked it down to where it's only about a 12% increase, to the residents, and I think he should be commended for sharpening his pencil as much as he did.
Any additional? And these that we're talking about right now are the commercial.
Right. There's 3 different ones. He segmented them, all of them at about 12.5%, so that it was equitable across all. If we had to do it, we wanted to make it equitable.
Okay. If there are no additional discussion, all in favor of the motion?
6-0, motion carries. Item C is an ordinance to amend Section 22-91 of the Code of Florence, Alabama for commercial garbage collection fees, rate increase for commercial service for dumpsters based upon the size of the commercial dumpster and frequency of collection, sponsored by David Koontz.
As a dumpster customer, I'd like to take the lead on this one when she asks, please. I think it's only fitting.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mrs. Eubanks. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of the motion?
6-0. Motion carries. Item D is an ordinance to amend Section 22-71 of the Code of Florence, Alabama, to increase the residential service rate for each house, apartment unit, or condominium unit to $22.50 per month. Up to 3 additional garbage carts can be provided for an additional fee of $15 per cart per month. Sponsored by David Koontz.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion.
Second.
Who did it? Who did the motion?
Mr. Oliver.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Ms. Eubanks. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Eubanks, second by Mr. Hendricks. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5 vote. Raise your hands again, please. 5 votes for.
One against.
5 votes for, 1 against. Motion carries. Item E is a resolution to appoint Tim Anderton, Fire Chief, and Mike Holt, Police Chief, to serve 4-year terms on the Florence Lauderdale 911 Board, sponsored by the City Council. Admis.
To appoint the fire chief, the police chief,
And Ms. Eubanks.
and Mayor Betterton, 4 people.
Also Mayor Betterton and Ms. Eubanks as the council representative, to serve 4-year terms on the Florence Lauderdale 911 Board, sponsored by the City Council.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Edwards. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Ms. Eubanks. Any discussion?
I do have a comment, Ms. Simmons, if you don't mind. I appreciate Mr. Oliver's willingness to step aside. I really sincerely appreciate that. As the council representative, when we learned that the statistics just supported the need for an additional voice. So I wanted to thank you on the record for that, and I look forward to serving and learning more from you before I begin that.
You're welcome.
If no other discussion, then all in favor of the motion?
6-0. Motion carries. Item F is a resolution making certain findings and determinations pursuant to amendment number 772 of the Alabama Constitution of 2022 as amended with respect to the Reverb by Hard Rock Hotel development at 400 South Court Street by FOF Q0ZB1 LLC as described in the notice published in the August 9th, 2024 edition of the Times Daily, sponsored by Bill Musgrove.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Hendricks. Any discussion?
I would like to just say that this does not obligate the city to put out any investment toward this at this time, and at this will move forward the business contract or whatever.
Agreement.
The agreement, thank you, that we can look at. My interest is make sure that the money is there to build this thing. I haven't seen any financials or anything. I think at that point we'll have access, or we'll know more about what it's going to be to build this thing, where the money's coming from. I just want to make sure that it's adequately funded before we obligate city money into it.
I'd like to add also that I echo what Blake has said, but I also want to thank the people who spoke, Mr. Brusevlin, Mr. James, and Mr. Bowers, and the others that spoke that were in favor of this project and obviously have put in a lot of homework into their decisions. Mr. James in particular shared some really good insight into that, so I appreciate you guys coming out tonight and doing that.
Anyone? It's in District 1, so I certainly hope that we can move the needle forward and get everything worked out with the agreement with the attorneys. I would love to see this happen. It is certainly needed, and it would be certainly a beautiful destination for the city of Florence and a staple in our city. So hopefully we can move the needle forward and get this to going and continue to beautify our great city.
I would like to say, I'm sorry, Ms. Simmons, I didn't mean to interrupt. So sorry about that. My vote tonight is not a reflection of the good work that was mentioned tonight. It's simply that I believe that there have been too many questions on my part about the data and about what the developer has the activities in which he has been involved in the city. So that is a reflection of my vote this evening. So thank you.
Understood. If no more additional discussion, all in favor of the motion?
5 votes for,
Any
I'm opposed.
1 opposed. Motion carries 5-1.
general business?
Under general business, item A is a resolution to approve an alcohol beverage license application for the operation of an automobile self-service station and convenience foods, retail table wine off premises only by Swami Bappa 2024 Corporation, doing business as Shan2 Food Mart, located at 2207 Huntsville Road, sponsored by Robert M. Leidy.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Ms. Eubanks. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do you hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Eubanks, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion?
For those of you who remember, that was Wilson's Food Center on Huntsville Road. It's been Shan's for many years.
Mm-hmm. All in favor of the motion?
6-0. Motion carries. Item B is a resolution to approve alcohol beverage license application for a special event retail with on-premises liquor, beer, and wine by KBT Enterprises, doing business as All the Best Block Party, located on South Seminary Street between Tennessee Street and College Street. The street party to take place on Saturday, September 23rd, sponsored by Robert M. Leidy.
Do you hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Being that that's in your district, I will make the motion on your behalf.
Second.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mr. Oliver. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do you hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion for Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Oliver. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
6-0. Motion carries. Item C is a resolution to approve the Electricity Department fiscal year 2025 budget, reflecting projected revenues of $135,998,500 and projected expenditures of $133,013,500, sponsored by Mayor Betterton, Mark Lovejoy, and Mary McDuffa.
Do you hear a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Oliver. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do you hear a motion for the adoption?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Ms. Eubanks. Any discussion?
I will say that the Utility Committee has looked over this, studied this budget, and we feel it's a very good budget. They've done a lot of good work presenting and putting it together, and we feel that it, will, of course, pass it on to the council, but I feel that it's a very good budget for this year.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of the motion?
6-0. Motion carries. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Leidy. We did have some board appointments tonight. The Tree Commission, Ms. Cheryl Swainston, I'm sorry. She was appointed to the Tree Commission. We still need someone for the Port Authority, the Beautification Board. We have two, Ms. Leslie McCrory and Mr. River Zarinsky, that we'll be looking at. And also for the Scope 310, we have Ms. Pamela Roden-Jones and Mr. Ben McHarry. Those are our board appointments at this time. Our next order of business, we'll have business from the public with a 5-minute time limit. We'll start to my left. In the middle.
Money should never be the driving force by which we open up our city. Billy Ray Simpson, 755 West Alabama Street, Florence. It's to benefit our citizens. It's good to get business in our communities, in our city. But some business is not good. You're going to see about this one. It's going to take money out of our city. It's not going to bring money in. There's going to be more problems with this hotel on Court Street than you ever want to find out about. Thank God for well, I don't know about our chief. I hadn't met the new one yet, but I know Ron, he was looking at a lot of sleazy hotels where they was having prostitution and all kind of stuff. Money ain't everything we need. We need good businesses in our city, and we don't need no more hard rocks. And you're gonna see. Again, I live on Alabama Street, and there's a lot of work going on. That's good. A lot of noise, a lot of traffic. But the people are still wondering what's going in there. What are the plans? What kind of businesses would be going into that place? We're in a low-income area, most of us. And we need business. But we need really a grocery store. Need a service station. And we need that College Street open up to Savannah Highway. Ain't nobody talking about that, but every time we need money for something else, it comes quick. But where is the money for 15 years for us to get this open on the west side? They're going to Savannah Highway. That's the only way we're going to get good businesses over in our area there. And we've been hurting for years. Mr. Jordan did good for District 2. Now he through.
Anyone else in the middle? Okay. Not to my right.
Good evening, everybody. All right, so I'm not going to go into detail about the past and all we've been through with this marker and the monument and all that, but I want to talk to each of you individually with the exception of Councilman Edwards and Oliver, because I know where you stand. Councilman Hendricks, you're new. We want a marker on city property. When I say we, I don't just mean Project Say Something. So many citizens protested in 2020. It was black people, it was white people, it was queer people, it was old people, it was young people, it was all of us together. So much so that we were able to accidentally influence a mayoral race. So this issue really matters to us. We hope that we can get a marker as soon as possible. Councilman Griffith, you put in writing that had you been there the night where the marker were going to be voted down, you said you would have voted yes. We would like for there to be a revote. Councilman Jordan was not feeling well. He was sick. He voted yes and then he voted no. I'm not even sure. You know what I mean? I mean, he's an elder. He may have been in poor health. We need a revote. I think now is the time to do that. Councilwoman Simmons, you have stood by our side in support of the marker. We are tired. We don't want to wait we've been waiting for how many years? We've been working on this since 2017, so it's 2024. So it's been 7 years. We've been working on the marker itself for 3 years. We should not have to wait. The messaging is there. You have everything you need. All you have to do is just put it up. So we're asking that. And you voted yes before, so we hope that you would still do the same, but we're asking that you move quickly. Councilwoman Eubanks, you voted yes. What I would like to say, just to clarify, we could care less about the county commission, truly. We're not thinking about them. They're not coming up in our heads in any way. We care about the messaging. We care about our ancestors. We would like to see a marker. It could be something more elaborate, we understand, but for now, we would like to move forward with the plan. So it was never about spite or hate. I promise, we're not thinking about them. We've forgotten about them. So this is me coming yet again humbly, this time, because usually I have an attitude. I don't have an attitude today because I'm tired. Humbly asking that you not only put a marker up, but do it in a timely fashion, because it's not fair that we've had to wait so long already. And now we've got, who wants to be ugly with billboards? I don't. But we got to do something. We're not gonna sit back and let nothing happen. And we have the funding to do it for an entire year. Who wants to be bothered with that? Do you want to be bothered? I don't. It's a headache. Let's just move forward. And not to mention, you want to shine, you want to look good, city. We would be one of the only cities in Alabama to make such a step.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Okay, you will look. It will bring unity. If that's the issue, it will bring unity to the city. That's a promise. There will be some people who are angry and who don't like it. So what? Be brave. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right?
Good afternoon. I'm John Williams. I'm representing the Tri-County Branch NAACP as our legal redress chair. I'm not going to be as nice as Ms. Bennett was. I'm just going to tell you how it is and how it was. This council sit here and went with racist behavior. Some of you voted to put that marker there. Some of you stated that you didn't know. Mr. Oliver, Mr. Edwards, you all made the statement that was not true what Ms. Bennett said about on the billboard. Absolutely true. I sit here in those meetings representing Tri-County Branch NAACP. We came to you all and asked that you do what Mrs. Bennett had asked to be done, and that was to put a marker there. Then it was voted down. Hit her with the intentions that there was going to be a marker for whatever particular reason. So it goes to show to the racist behavior of some of you all on this council. And I'm saying it very affirmatively. I don't care who doesn't like it or what, but I'm saying it with great affirmation. It shows to the racist behavior of city council members. Mr. Hendricks, you're new on this council. I hope that you don't go along with some of the shenanigans that are going on this council. Ms. Simmons, Mrs. Eubanks, thank y'all for your vote. Mr. Griffith, for whatever particular reason you weren't here, but I would hope that you all would go back and do what Ms. Bennett asked, and that is to take a revote. Because it clearly sounds, and it clearly shows that we have some council members who agree with racism in this city.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say I'm Leslie Vale. Before, when I've spoken last year, I was more in an adversarial role. But each one of you, I don't think any one of you have a malcontent, that you have a malicious bone in your body trying to work against people. I'm sorry he feels that way. And that I just wanted to say that because I know you receive a lot of negative information or press at times, and I just wanted to thank you for serving. I don't think I could do your jobs, and we don't know all that goes on behind the scenes, so I just thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello again, Lee Murky, live on Bradshaw Drive in the city. So this is in two parts. First, I have questions about rent control. Who do I talk to about that? Because rent is kind of getting out of control where I live. I have a really nice job, and presumably in the next 5 years, if things continue the way they are, I'll be priced out of where I live. And it's not due to a lack of work ethic, it's due to algorithmically guided software systems that spit out rent prices at competitive rates, and it's killing us. People my age who are like trying to start families, trying to buy homes, we're being priced out. And I want to know if anything can be done about it. Also, to the point that we're up here worrying about people's feelings, keep in mind that this marker is in the context of a monument that was erected in celebration of slavers, overseers, in a brutal regime that is as anti-American as anything you can imagine. So I don't understand why like feelings have to factor into it. I would argue morality and ethics are way more important, and it's about what you can sleep with. And if you can sleep with the fact that you could have done something to contextualize or remove the Confederate stain that hangs over this area, then that's you. You sleep with it. But keep in mind that it's a moral issue, it's not emotional at all, and that is not productive. Thank you.
Thank you.
coming again. 'Cause I want
But
to make a
technically, Mr. Williams, when you've spoke once, we don't allow that.
Okay,
But you can stay after the meeting, and then you'll be able to say something. Yeah. We got one that's coming.
Hello, City Council members. My name is Dr. Kelly Bolton. I have recently relocated here to the city of Florence. I wanted to speak to what Mrs. Bennett, Camille Bennett, brought up so brilliantly, urging you all to please consider a revote of this brilliant marker that is not only an extremely reasonable ask, but also as someone who has a PhD in social work, and I have been devoting my life's work to studying and investigating the need to understand this history of systemic oppression, including historical systemic racism. This marker will not only be it's not only a reasonable ask, but it is something that many marginalized members, Black people and people of color in this community have been asking for years and years now. So I say again, I'm not standing up here at this moment to try to speak to the motivations or the hearts of you all. I don't know your hearts. I do not know what motivates you. But I am asking as not only a concerned new citizen, but also someone who considers themselves adequately educated and who has been studying and who cares about how marginalized communities have been suffering the effects and very real lived experiences of racism and racial oppression. Take a revote on this. And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing and following up on how you all and what the outcome is of such a revote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right? No? Okay. If not, at this point we will have council member reports, starting with Councilman Hendricks.
Well, I need to start with a shout out to my mother, who is at home recovering from knee surgery from yesterday morning. I'm glad to say she's doing well, and my thoughts are with her. I would also like to congratulate the Carriage for a very successful Wine Fest this past weekend that was in the downtown district. They had several events. I think most were sold out. Lots of folks from out of town here, heads in beds and bringing in new money to the city, and it was really, really great to see. Couple of things for our departments. One, we had some power issues for the block party, and they called me about it, and I thought, well, do I get some generators down there? What do I need to do? And I thought, no, I'm a councilman now. I can actually help them. So I called the mayor and asked for the process, and he told me to call Mary, and within 30 minutes they had 2 service trucks down there and solved that problem. And so I want to give a shout out to those guys that were working hard this weekend with the electricity department. Also had one other issue in the downtown area that recycling and sanitation was helped resolve. Currently in the 100 block, due to a transformer being moved, the alley is closed, and it's making it difficult for the restaurant owners to get to the dumpsters, and specifically the recycling. And so what was happening, recycling was piling up on the sidewalk, which no one wants to see. And spoke with Rachel Mansell and David Kuntz, and they got another dumpster down there very quickly, serviced the ones that were there. I drove by Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday morning, and the issue seems to be resolved. So I want to give a shout out to those departments for being so responsive for me in handling that issue. And my final statement tonight is Saturday morning, 10 to 12, I plan to have a meet and greet at the Florence Library. It'll be very casual. There's still a lot of folks that I've not met that live in the district and outside of the district. I invite you there to come by there so that we can meet one another. If you're not able to make it, Tuesday night I will be in attendance with the state of the city, and I look forward to meeting as many citizens there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hendricks. Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Bill Griffin. I serve in District 3. If you need to talk to me, please call me at 256-335-6575. It is my privilege to serve the city of Florence. And there's probably only 2 people in here that know that I actually wrote a proposal for the plaque. And I just didn't write it. I prayerfully considered my words. And I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't what was chosen, but I hate that I wasn't here that night. I had a family issue, but I'm with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Ms. Eubanks?
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. I want to address Mr. Murky. I want to mention you first because you asked about rent control. I'm not sure if there's anything, because a lot of those things are privately held. But Mr. Oliver is your council member. You live in, I don't want to say exactly, you just said Bradshaw Drive, but there's 2 sides to it. You live on the high school side? Yes, sir. So that would be Mr. Oliver's your council member. But there are other opportunities. You might want to visit with Gary Williamson, who is our building department director. He might be able to give you some insight. And I don't want to, Melissa Bailey isn't in here either, but as our planning department chair, she might be able to give you some insight as well. So those aren't, that is not a question that I have ever fielded before. And so I appreciate it. My daughter is also in an apartment. She is a first-time full-time employee. Let us be very clear. She is not off the payroll. Okay. Still very much on the payroll, and that's fine. But she is voicing the exact same things you are. And so I think that's a really important topic of discussion. So thank you for bringing that up. Of course, thank you, Ms. Bennett. Always good to hear your voice. Always good to see you. I've known you like literally since the child I just mentioned, they were 5 years old. So let us not talk about how old our kids are. But I would lend it to my support. And I'm glad you went back and you listened to the comments again, because I think they're very valuable. So I appreciate your time here and you coming up and you suggesting and saying those things that maybe it is time. So that will be a question for this body to take up. So I appreciate it. I also have to thank very much Mr. Coates. You mentioned him, Councilmember Hendricks, because I was on my way to work one morning and a truck that was picking up branches off the side of the road was blocking and backing up traffic so badly. People were trying to get to work. People were trying to get to school. It was literally day 2 of the Florence City Schools. I called him. I was on Hermitage Drive, and I said, David, is there any way we could not have trucks picking up these things on the way, at school time? And he was like, absolutely, we'll get it fixed. And he did. And he said, we'll do those routes after 8:30. And he is very responsive and he's very responsible in those ways. And I sincerely appreciate his willingness to help out. That eases traffic for all of us, and it's a very big deal. He didn't have to do it, but he did it. He also hosted whomever would want to be there this past week at the property that we discussed as a part of the Finance Committee minutes that Ms. Simmons read, related to a property on Starkey Drive. And it was very kind of him to host us, for us to be able to look at the property, see how big it is, look at the potential for it to be a transfer station, among other things, for the city of Florence. But also, to Ms. Simmons' point, it is a big investment. So the due diligence is important, and that was part of my due diligence. Going, talking, listening, understanding, and figuring out if this is going to be worthwhile for us as we move forward. And he didn't have to do it, but he did it. I saw you there, Mr. Hendricks, so thank you for going to that too. I hope all the other council members were able to go. I wanted to also remind folks that as we are getting back into the school season, there are opportunities to shop locally, and I was delighted to meet Katie Wakefield earlier this last week and her new business, the Moore Space Place in District 4. She has opened a business there, and that's a very exciting opportunity for a local business person to do that. Work continues on the demolition of JCPenney and Sears. They are inside the building at this point, getting it ready to take down the outside. So that's going to be freed up to do green space, and I'm delighted about that. Delighted to see Whole Story doing anything with that property other than just allowing businesses inside of it to close because they're not rent controlled. So there is that. And then finally, we have seen the start of the K-12 system. And tomorrow we see the return of students to the university. And so, as I said the last time, please be patient. These young babies are learning how to navigate our streets. And 7 Points always gives them dilemmas, as does Hermitage and Royal. So just be patient with them. They are bound and determined to go the wrong way. So just be patient with them and know that traffic will get worse. So thank you, and I appreciate you all for coming tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
I was also at the tour of the facility that Mr. Koontz provided for us. I have no report.
Mr. Oliver?
Mr. Williams made some pretty strong remarks and then left the room. I'd like to have responded to him, but he scampered on out the door. But I sleep pretty good at night. Sleep real well at night. I did not vote against the marker. I voted against the first 4 words of the marker, and I would welcome another vote if this council wants to vote on it again. But my vote will be the same if it begins with all Florence citizens agree. Not going to happen. I'm going to vote no because I work with all citizens in Florence. So that's where I stand on that. And Mr. The Reverend here, you've got a great development going over there where you live. It's called West Village. It'll be residential. It'll be restaurants. It'll be rental property, new homes. It's going to be great for that area over there. So it's I think you'll be happy with that. We have got hundreds and hundreds of kids. I wish I had the exact number, and I'm sure Bill will text me here in just a moment and tell me. But hundreds of kids about to start playing flag football and soccer at the Sportsplex. And I love this time of the year. I tell you, we've got a great crew out there at the Sportsplex. We've got a great facility, got one of the best in the state. And so appreciate all the hard work they do out there. Tip of the hat to Wine Fest. That was a great event. I've seen the videos. I did not get to come down there, but the crowds were enormous. So look forward to seeing the lights on Mobile Plaza for that event and future events to come. That's all I have.
Thank you. My comments, everyone, please pull your garbage carts back to your house and off of the curb, off the front street. Please pull those off and put them up against your house, on the back of your house, or somewhere besides on Front Street. Also, encourage you all to please support small businesses. And in regards to the marker, I supported the marker then. I supported the removal of the monument. I still support the marker, and I would support openly a revote. So I will certainly bring that before the council, and hopefully that we can make that happen, a revote for the marker to move forward with that. So we will be getting, I'll be in contact with the council real soon to have that discussion in regards to a revote for the marker, to see where we can stand with that and see where we move with that. If there isn't anything else, we will stand to be adjourned with a closing prayer. I'm sorry, Mayor Betterton, did you have anything before we close? Stand to be adjourned by Councilman Oliver.
Father God, we thank you for this beautiful pre-fall day you gave us today. And we thank you for the opportunity to come here and come come together and make decisions for our city. And we pray for guidance as we make future decisions that are coming our way. And we do so with clear minds